It was an ordinary Tuesday morning when 28-year-old mechanic Travis Coburn noticed an elderly woman struggling with her broken mobility scooter outside his garage. What he did next would cost him his job, but what happened the very next day would turn everything upside down. Within hours, a line of luxury cars showed up, leaving the whole town in shock. No one could have guessed who that woman really was, or the incredible secret she had kept hidden in her silence. Something big was about to happen, and life in Elmsworth would never be the same again. Before we dive in, tap that like button and tell us where you're watching from. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful stories. Now, let's begin. The garage was still and quiet that morning, filled with the smell of oil and dust, as Travis Coburn tightened the last bolt on a customer's car. The sound of his tools clicking against metal echoed softly in the space. Outside, the sun had barely risen, casting long shadows over the parking lot. Travis, only 28, was a well-known mechanic in the small town of Elmsworth, not for being rich or highly educated, but for having a good heart. He was raised by his grandfather, a Vietnam veteran, who taught him the importance of honesty, hard work, and always helping others, even when no one else would. Just as Travis was getting ready to take a lunch break, he heard a strange rattling sound. He looked up and saw an elderly woman struggling to push a broken-down mobility scooter along the sidewalk. Her gray hair was messy, her eyes looked tired, and her hands shook as she moved. Cars kept driving by, and people walked past her like she wasn't even there. Without hesitating, Travis dropped his tools and rushed over. "Ma'am, do you need help?" he asked gently, concern in his voice. She looked up, surprised, and gave a weak nod. "It just stopped working," she said. "I don't know what's wrong. I can't walk far without it." Travis didn't ask any more questions. He kindly led her to the shade near his garage and told her to rest while he looked at the scooter. She started to speak again, but he raised a hand kindly. "You don't have to explain," he said. "Let me handle it." Travis had no idea, nobody in town did, that this small act of kindness would change his life forever. He spent more than 2 hours working on that scooter. It was an old model, with rusted wires and a battery pack that hadn't been replaced in years. The job wasn't easy, but Travis was patient. He even used a new battery from his own supplies, knowing she couldn't afford to pay for it. When he brought the repaired scooter back to her, fully working again, her eyes filled with tears. "How much do I owe you?" she asked softly. "Nothing," Travis said with a smile. "Just promise me you'll ride safely." What he didn't notice was the black Mercedes parked across the street, with a man inside quietly watching and listening. The next morning, Travis showed up at the garage like he always did, but something felt off. His manager, Derek, was waiting at the door with a clipboard and a serious look on his face. "We need to talk," Derek said, his voice flat. "Head office found out about what you did yesterday. You repaired something for free. You used inventory without permission. You're fired, Travis." Before Travis could say a single word, the door slammed shut behind him. Just like that, everything he had worked so hard for was gone. But fate had only just begun to move. Even though the sky was clear and blue, the morning air felt colder. Travis stood in front of the locked garage doors, holding a cardboard box filled with his things. Inside were just a few items: a wrench set, an oil-stained rag, and a photo of him and his grandfather standing proudly next to the first engine they had rebuilt together. His hands shook, not from the cold, but from the shock. He had been let go without warning, without a chance to explain. The job that had felt like his second home for years was suddenly gone, like it had meant nothing. He walked slowly down the sidewalk. Every step felt heavier than the last. Elmsworth wasn't a big town, and word traveled fast. Already, people were glancing at him with quiet pity, the kind that stings more than harsh words. Travis tried to keep his head up, but inside, something felt broken. He had done the right thing. He had been kind. And yet, he was punished for it. By the time he got to his apartment, a small second-floor unit above an old diner, he felt completely drained. He sat on his worn-out couch, staring at the floor. Bills were stacking up. Rent was due. He had no backup plan. All he really knew was how to fix things. But who would hire a mechanic who'd just been fired and didn't have a formal degree? Then there was a soft knock at the door. He hesitated, then opened it slowly. A man in a sharp gray suit stood outside. His black sunglasses reflected Travis's confused face. Parked at the curb behind him was a sleek, dark blue Rolls-Royce with tinted windows. "Travis Coburn?" the man asked politely. "Yes, that's me. I'm here on behalf of Ms. Evelyn Carrington. She's requesting your presence. Transportation has been arranged." Before Travis could say anything, the back window of the Rolls lowered slowly. Sitting inside was the same elderly woman he had helped the day before. But this time, she looked completely different. Her scarf was gone, replaced with a string of pearls that sparkled in the sunlight. Her gentle eyes now held confidence and strength. This was no longer a frail old woman. This was someone powerful. "Get in, Travis," she said softly. "We have things to talk about." Still stunned, Travis stepped into the car. The leather seats were the most comfortable thing he had ever sat on. The door closed with a quiet click, and the car began to move. They rode in silence for a moment, then Evelyn spoke. "You gave me something yesterday that can't be bought. Not because of money, but because of your heart. Most people don't show that kind of kindness unless they know someone important is watching." Travis struggled to respond. "I was just trying to help," he said quietly. She smiled. "I know. That's exactly why you're the person I've been looking for." The Rolls-Royce turned a corner, and what Travis saw next made him gasp. Stretching down the block were rows of luxury cars, Bentleys, Lamborghinis, Cadillacs, all shining, engines running, and drivers in black suits standing beside them like they were ready for something big. Travis turned to Evelyn, completely overwhelmed. "What's going on?" She leaned in, her voice calm and steady. "Today, Travis, your real journey begins." The convoy moved through Elmsworth like a scene from a movie. People on the sidewalks froze in place, holding up their phones to take videos. No one in the town had ever seen anything like it. Travis sat quietly in the back of the Rolls-Royce, his heart pounding. He couldn't decide if he was excited or terrified. Next to him, Evelyn Carrington stared ahead with quiet control. She looked like someone who always knew what came next. The car began to slow. They were heading toward an old warehouse on the edge of town, one that had been closed for years. But now the doors were wide open. A soft light glowed inside, and the faint hum of machines could be heard. "Follow me," Evelyn said, stepping out of the car. Still in shock, Travis followed. What he saw inside left him speechless. Dozens of mechanics moved with speed and skill, building what looked like custom electric vehicles. The place was spotless. Tools shined, lifts hummed, screens showed digital readouts. This wasn't a repair shop. It was something entirely new, a quiet revolution. Evelyn walked ahead, the click of her heels echoing. Then she stopped and turned to face him. "I built all of this," she said, "from the ground up. No headlines, no greed, a company built on people, not just profits." She looked him straight in the eyes. "And I've been waiting for someone like you, someone who still fixes things, not just because it's their job, but because they care." Travis was overwhelmed. "I don't understand. Why me?" Evelyn smiled. "Because you did what most people wouldn't. You helped me when I looked like I had nothing. You didn't ask for anything. You didn't even wait to be thanked." Then she turned toward a man standing nearby in a navy blazer. Here's the final portion of the story rewritten using simpler, clearer language while keeping the structure, pace, and emotion intact. "Charles, bring it out," Evelyn said. A few seconds later, someone wheeled over a large object covered in cloth. Evelyn stepped forward and pulled the cover away. Underneath was a stunning matte black electric scooter with gold details. On the handlebar, in tiny writing, were the words, "Built by heart, not by hire." Travis stared in disbelief. It was the same model he had fixed, but this version had been completely redesigned, upgraded, and perfected. "That's your design now," Evelyn said. "We built it based on your work." "My design?" Travis asked, stunned. "Yes. You repaired mine so well, my engineers studied everything you did. We tested your changes, scaled them, and now we're getting ready to release it across the country." Travis took a step back. "This can't be real." "It's very real," Evelyn said. "And there's more." She walked to a small table and handed him a sealed envelope. Inside was a contract. It offered him a full-time executive position, head of innovation, with a starting salary so high it made his vision blur. "This company, this future, it's yours to help lead now," she told him. Outside, the line of luxury cars still waited. Each one carried the new logo of her company, Carrington Mobility. But one vehicle stood apart, a matte black SUV. Its doors opened on their own, revealing a driver in uniform. "That one's yours," Evelyn said. "Your first perk as part of this journey." Travis didn't know what to say. His knees felt weak. "You believed in someone the world ignored," she said gently. "Now it's time someone believes in you." Travis looked at her, his eyes full of emotion. For the first time in his life, he felt truly seen. The next morning, Travis stood in front of a full-length mirror wearing a sleek black suit tailored just for him. He adjusted his tie with nervous hands. Outside, the matte black SUV waited. He took a deep breath. He wasn't heading to an interview. He wasn't going to fix a tire. He was returning to the place that once turned him away, the dealership. Carrington Mobility had bought it overnight. The paperwork was done. The managers were notified. But there was one thing Evelyn insisted on. Travis had to walk through those doors himself. The SUV glided through the town. Travis watched familiar streets go by. Each red light felt like the world asking, "Are you ready?" He was. The dealership came into view, glowing under the morning sun. Inside, employees were chatting, sipping coffee, unaware of what was about to happen. The SUV stopped. The driver stepped out and opened Travis's door. Heads turned right away. Laughter paused. One of the salesmen squinted. "Wait, is that the tire guy?" Travis walked through the glass doors with calm steps. No hesitation. He stopped in the center of the showroom. Staff began gathering, confused and curious. Then Evelyn walked in. Every jaw dropped. She wasn't in disguise now. She wore a tailored white suit. Her heels clicked sharply against the floor. The once lost old lady now held the entire room's attention with just her presence. "I'm Evelyn Carrington," she said, "CEO of Carrington Mobility. As of today, this dealership belongs to my company." Gasps rippled through the room. The manager who had once laughed at Travis looked pale. "And this man, Travis Coburn," she added, "is your new regional director. If anyone has a problem with that, they can talk to me." The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Travis stood still, then remembered that night. The rain, the cold, the humiliation. He stepped forward. "I remember standing outside these doors," he said. "Soaking wet, tired, hungry. I asked for help. I was laughed at, treated like a joke, sent away." He paused, his voice steady. "I'm not here for payback. I'm here to show what happens when you lead with heart." A single clap broke the silence, then another. Soon the whole room was applauding. Evelyn placed a hand on his shoulder. "You inspired this movement," she said, "and this is just the beginning." That day, things changed. The staff were retrained. The toxic manager was removed. New rules were put in place to protect kindness and respect. Everyone got a chance, but they had to earn it. Travis walked through offices he once wasn't allowed in. His name now shone on the door. Weeks passed, then months. The dealership transformed. Customers praised it. People came not just to buy, but to be part of a story. And whenever someone asked how it all started, Evelyn pointed to a photo by the front door. It showed Travis, soaked from the rain, holding a tire iron and smiling. The caption read, "Kindness isn't weakness. It's power in its purest form." That image became the face of Carrington Mobility's national campaign, and it all began with one kind act, one moment, one man, choosing to help someone when no one else would.